I really got such cases which is quite similar number. Can I actually use similar like this is actually because they actually have about 500,000 in CPF.
Yes.
And if they which means to say that the negative sales will be actually the accrued interest will make the sales moving forward to be more and more negative in such a way. Am I to say that? So in a way, can I put it that because I'm not sure that can they actually serve their mortgage fully using their OA contribution?
Okay.
Can they actually do that?
Yeah, can. So for example, right, this new OA, there's a new OA monthly contribution, right? Assuming the both of them continues to work. Then at the end of it, after I sell, right, if assuming I buy this bracket of price, I have a balance of the here I balance about 300K.
Yep.
Then the every month, so your question is every month this monthly top up after I deduct the OA, right? This is the top up. Am I able to fully use the CPF to auto deduct, right, every month?
Yep.
Can do that.
Okay. So in a way, I can actually put a word for them. Like example, let's just say the current accrued interest is actually inside your HDB, which means to say that every month you have to pay the accrued interest. But meanwhile, if you actually take out, you sell your HDB to buy a private instead, then like the portion of 300,000 actually earning the CPF accrued interest from CPF part instead. Then
You are
meanwhile, you
totally
can.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's good. So it's true. I mean, especially those fully paid up one, using and then or they left like 100K outstanding loan because they'd be staying there donkey years and keep using CPF to pay, right? It's true. You unlock it. You in fact you are actually reusing half of it. Another 50% you are earning back from the CPF of your 2.6%, 2.5% interest.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep. Correct.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Because this is exactly like one of the cases that I'm working on. Then the husband is like so excited, want to upgrade. Then typical like what you said, the wife don't want. Now I don't need to pay any mortgage. Then now we have to top up 1,000 plus. Then it doesn't make sense for me, and I move to a smaller house instead. Yeah.
That's why
Okay.
when you start to speak to people, right, on the ground, right, you know that their objection, right, is all standard one. Why do I pay higher? Everything is smaller. And then I take on the risk. Then you say will increase also is a question mark. Sure will increase ma.
Mm.
Right?
But in a way, it's really like if they take out to buy even a freehold resale private instead, then it still makes sense because their reserve fund is like earning interest for them instead of like really continuous stuck inside the HDB at the moment.
Precisely. And that like at the end of it, right, when they ask me that, hey, you at the end also not confirm will appreciate what, correct? So then I will ask them, through that, in fact, not 100% you will appreciate because no agents can guarantee I recommend you to buy this, it will sure go up. But what I can share with you is I will study the price and show you some figures to show you its probability.
Mm.
Even before this appreciation to happen, I think what we can think about before growing our funds, right? Maybe we should also start to look into how we can best preserve what we have and not lose further in interest. Then we check on the probability of it appreciating in a sense that if your current property, you stayed there for how many years already, do you agree that for it to grow up further, do you think the next buyer who pay you at this valuation fee, do you think this buyer have a chance to actually earn an additional 100 or 200 from this property if staying here for the next 5-year MOP?
Mm.
Yeah. And that versus if you were to reprice something, newer, you're the first
Yep.
owner, what do you think is your chance versus holding it this for next 5 years? Coupled with your CPF also earning interest 2.6,
Yeah.
2.5%.
Yeah. All
Hmm.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
So true that all these case studies that I put out is very, very typical and of a lot of families lah. Typically if they're of certain age, their CPF combined is about 500,000 one. It can do quite a bit of things one. Okay, great. Okay, just now Monica asked, what interest rate do you use? I put 2%. Just now, that one. Yeah. Because 2% why? Because currently it's 1.5 ma. So if you put 1.5, people will tell you, hey, next time will increase. So might as well you put 2%. Right? And then that's why you also shared that, hey, actually, if it's new launch today, it's actually 1% or lesser than 1%. Do you think this is the best time to kind of buy in some value? Or maybe we should start to explore the possibility. If the numbers work out, good. If the numbers don't work out, then maybe we can relook into your options. So deliver it in such a way that they are open to explore because you make them feel safe. They are only not open to explore if you say that, hey, you go into product already. Then they start to feel that, if you keep talking so much about this product, I'm also not sure if I should sell or not leh. And then maybe you let me think about it, like I come back to you. Right? Because it is like an end to it already, ma. So you have to show them one step at a time that it can be safe. It's actually not exactly like what you think is 3,000 or whatsoever. Actually, it's actually 1,000 plus. It's actually also manageable. Mm-hmm.
Hi, Yvonne. Sorry, I missed one question. One step that earlier you show us how to filter from the squarefoot.com with the like how to select punch in some figures in order to come up with a few projects. Can you show again?
Square foot, ah?
Yes. Thank you.
No worries. Let me see, ah. Okay, come, let me share screen with you using the square foot. Okay. So after your login over here, right, there's the home button where you go straight to your individual property here, right?
Yes.
How your shortlist is trends and analysis. Go under shortlist, which is here. Which is here. Click on it.
Okay.
So you can do under transaction, you can do under project, then you can custom how long you want, right? So a safe bet you can do maybe 1 year, right? July to July.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So condo, apartment condo. Yeah. So then from here you can even put resale. You can click here lah. That's how the kind of filter you want. So I only want freehold. Huh? So district so overall average price. Show in prices, you can do per square feet and you can do absolute quantum affordability. Then you shortlist.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Great. Okay. So yeah, good. So now that we are 3:30, we are going 3:30 already. We take some time to look through. I mean, if you go for a short break for your toilet break, um, let's connect on the case studies too. This is also another classic family type that we will look into for restructuring. Yep. So I'll go flash it here. When you are ready, work on it. Punch in the numbers quickly. Same thing. We want to look into the delivery or different profile. So it's how you actually look at it. Because I want to share how my thinking process is. That one is more important rather than talking about the figures, right? I think we can now is 25, 325. We come back 5, 10, 15. Are you all good if we do at 3:40? So we have more time because running short of time already. Okay, because this class always overrun until 6 o'clock one. So I try to keep track in time. Do y'all think it's 3:40 is good or y'all want 3:40? All right. Cool.
Yvonne, Alfred here. For case study 2, right? Can I the cash saving, is it still remain at 80,000?
Case studies to
Their cash saving.
yeah, you can put that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm. Okay. Are we good? Have your are you able to look into this? Which of you would like to give it a shot? Any of you? Privately. Do we put transport as allowance fixed salary? No. transport allowance, bonus, all this would be under the haircut of 30%. So you can put into the income, but you have to deduct 30% out. Divide by 12. Great. Okay. So, which of you would like to share? Let's do this one that there's a few options we can look into. So, okay, if you are ready and you all would like to give it a shot, right? You can just type 1 in the group chat. Yvonne, would you like to give it a shot? These are some of the classic clients usually you will come into that you will come across lah. Are you there? Kim income 8,900. Yeah, sorry, remove the K, 8,900 per month. Which of you would like to? Irene, would you like to give it a shot? Or do you all still need some more time to run through the figures? Okay, those who are ready, you type 1 so that I know if I should proceed or not. Okay, Alfred, you're ready? Anyone else? Anyone else is ready? Or you all need some more time? Or if you need some more time, just put in the group chat that you need some more time. If not, I don't know if I should proceed with this. We have a few more case studies to go. Okay, Monica, you need some more time. Alfred, you're ready with your numbers, is it?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
ready.
Since the rest is not very keen to look into this to present, do you want to go ahead?
Can I ask if the goal is to secure the second appointment?
Yeah.
Because that's what we learned, right, for the first case study.
Correct. The goal is to how you can build make the prospect feel comfortable with you in your delivery.
Okay. Because what you have presented for the first case study, right? The demonstration is that you showed some data from square foot and all this lah. But I didn't use that. I only have the asset planning so there will not be any other data being shown.
Yeah. Do you have square foot?
I have. Yeah, but not in time to prepare all this.
Yeah. So I don't use square foot all the time for my presentation, depending on what's their question.
Okay. Okay. Then I'll just depend on you to ask me question. Because
Okay, so based on these case studies, assuming I'm the
Yeah.
wife, right, who owns the 4-room flat BTO Choa Chu Kang.
Yeah.
So who are just MOP looking at to okay, so that's why I give you all a total different owner profile. One is lose money, this one is make money. And as they make money, usually BTO owner once they felt that since property can make money, then they'll be more keen to explore, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
so assuming now you have all the figures already, how would you have suggest, propose?
Okay. So the couple is keen to sell one buy two. And what would be my advice? Okay. So right. So Mrs. Buyer, thank you so much. And I think that this is what you have done. Is a very wise choice. So yes, I have also handled a lot of my clients' portfolio, and they are moving in these directions, lah. So one of the things that we need to be careful of is that while this is a very popular move, it is not a sure win all the time, right? And people who gain profit out of these directions is because they have really calculate their data very, very carefully. They have also looked into some of the profitable projects. Okay, so and I also appreciate you for giving me all the numbers, like, for me to go and calculate all these things. I think one of the important question that I want to know from you is why are you keen in this move of sell one buy two? Is this something that you hear from your friends and family, or is there a financial goal that you're trying to achieve here? Can you share with me?
Okay, good. Okay, so the reason why I'm looking at sell one buy two is because it seems that I also have some talk to some agents, so they actually suggest that my numbers can own two property.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm thinking yeah, I mean if that can work, then we are open to explore, because we thought that since one property can make money, if we double up, two property can make double, then maybe can
Okay, good. So you have already met up with a few agents, lah, right?
Mm.
So does those few agents do they have already shared with you any projects that they want you to look at, or you and your husband there are already a few projects that you are already looking at?
Yeah. So we are actually at the level of exploring to and then talking to a few agents to see what are our options are. So well, I think that about two of them that say that actually we can own two property after we sell here. They 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 just highlighted a few projects here and there, but we don't really like lah. So we thought like maybe you can share with us what is there something that we can actually consider.
Sure. Okay, so let me show you some examples over here, lah, right? I will be showing you two examples over here. One example is how this couple actually profited, by selling sell one buy two. What are the project that they actually bought in, and what are some of the important criteria to look into in order to profit. Okay, so this is one example. Okay, and then another example is this couple does the exact same thing, right? They sell one and buy two as well, and after 3 to 5 years later, right, they realize that they didn't profit. They didn't profit from this move, and what are some of the examples and criteria that they fail to look into. Okay, so from here I show one example, one good example and one bad example. Okay, and then and so today, right, my goal over here is not to straight away let you show you what are some of the projects that you should be buying into, but more importantly, what are the criteria that you need to look into in order to profit from this sell one buy two. Okay, so from this good example that I've shown you, okay, a few criteria that we need to look into importantly, right? Are you entering in a very high price? Yeah, are you entering in a very high price? Do you have enough reserve fund for you to last, right? So from you and your husband income, we can see that the both of you are earning quite comfortably, right? So this is actually a good move. So this criteria you already passed, okay? Another criteria is that instead of buying all the star buy or must buy project, another important criteria is you need to buy into a right stack as well. And I think that is actually more important than just buying into a group project. So this is also another criteria. I don't know whether your other agent have shared with you, but for me, this is actually a very important criteria. Yeah. And I don't know whether your other agent have also shared with you, but I always come up with exit strategies for all my clients as well, so that they know they don't just know when to enter, but they also know when to exit as well. Okay. I just want to ask, because this is not shown in your information. Does you and your husband already have children, or do you all plan to have children on your way?
Oh, we plan to have children.
Okay, right. So when you want to buy one and when you want to sell one and buy two, it is also important that we look into the size of the unit as well, right? Can I say that the space is also one of the big concern for you and your husband?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. All right. So with this, right? Just maybe we can arrange for another meetup, maybe 5 days or 1 week down the road, and then maybe you and your husband can talk about, can in the next 1 week think about, are there any locations that y'all are looking at, possibly when do y'all plan to have children as well, so actually all these things are some of the deciding factors for us in our next meetup to talk about more in depth what are some of the good locations, as well as the size of the units and the budget that we are all looking at. Do you think that would be a good idea?
You can ask me now lah. I'm ready. So you want me to tell you which area I want to look at, is it, to stay?
Sure. Yeah. Maybe you can share with me. Yeah. What are some of the locations that you're looking at?
Okay, actually we are open to look at, from the western side all the way to the central lah. I think what we don't want is just the east and the north.
The east and the north. Okay. So that is potentially where you and your husband want to stay at, right? Okay. Yeah. But because you also mentioned buy two, right? So this is only one. How about another one?
Investment.
Yeah. Okay.
Anywhere also can investment.
Anywhere also can. How about north? Up north.
I think no lah, not for the up north lah. If the numbers make sense, then yeah lah, we can consider.
Right. Okay. So you see, so sometimes why it is important for me, to say that, it is important for us to give yourself another 1 week, to think about all these things carefully. Later on, I will be able to give you a list of questions that you and your husband must think about, right, before you answer, because all these questions are actually way more important than me showing you all the projects, right? Of course, if today I throw you some projects and you are willing to buy immediately, right? Actually, I'm more than happy. But then that also means I'm just thinking for myself, not thinking for you and your husband. So I don't know if that is actually what you want from your agent. Yeah. So all these questions, I'll be giving you 5 to 7 questions to think about carefully. Wow. When you have the answer already, then you share with me, and I will be able to come up with a comprehensive analysis for you and your husband, and that is actually customized just for the both of you. It is very important that your next move is also correct as well, because you and husband, you have already made the first right move, which is to sell right after MOP, and that is a wise decision. Yeah. So okay, right. So just now you mentioned for investment you need anywhere also can, right? That's why I asked you, is North okay? Yeah, because for investment, the location is very important, because your goal is to not just to buy and put there, you also want to have a high rentability as well. Yeah, so who you want to rent to, who you don't want to rent to, the demographic of your tenants, all these are very, very important, and this is important considerations for you as a landlord in future. Okay, yeah. So so I think it is better, right, for us to, not to write on a hype, right, but to think about all these questions carefully. Yeah, and then we should meet up in about 1 week's time lah. What do you think?
Okay, for to benefit the rest of them, and also to give you your chance to see how, if assuming you just share and then these are your owners, right? Those type 1, if you will have a second meetup with Alfred. Type 2, if you won't. So we can see how many, what is the priority, yeah? Okay. Great. So far they all supporting you. You get your next appointment already.
Wow, thank you. I'm actually trembling because I'm running out of things to say.
Exactly. I also can feel it. Okay. Anyway, it's a good try, and it's good that we hear the ground, because they will be your possible audience, right? So, okay, let me share this with you. The thing is that I think that what you are sharing is good, in the sense that you said that you are keeping it general, but in my opinions, it's a little bit too general, that I find that the whole purpose of this meetup is not driving me any direction, right? In fact, that question that you said you want to discuss, I feel that you can already on the spot ask it out already. What I'm trying to say is that instead of you delivering like one-way traffic, actually the best thing is you are there to actually ask them question, so that it has this bounce off interaction. I tell you my greatest mistake previously when I meet all the walls, right, for the last first 5 years when I was doing it, is that I also don't know what to say to them, because it's my first time meeting them. So I try my best that, since for example, you are the Choa Chu Kang owner, I will crunch your figure, and I'll think that, what can you buy? Then I go and do a sales kit. For example, I want to share with you Momentum Park. Then I will go and do all the sales kit myself, using all the comparison, all this like price, just to justify that why Momentum, why should you consider Momentum, why is it a good buy. So what I did is that, similarly to how it is a one-way traffic, I'll get my iPad, right, I keep flipping, and then I will just keep talking myself, and how good, what's the potential, this and that, why you should consider this. So in my mind is that, since maybe I put out something to show you how I analyze, how I look at numbers, so that you can feel that, okay lah, you're good enough, maybe I should give you a try. But although I was doing all this, right, there was no interaction. It's always one-way traffic, like I thought not, they thought one. They only yes, no only. Until the eyes start to roll already, like what time is it now, So at the end, that when there is no engagement, people felt that maybe the chance of wanting to meet you, the chance is lower, because there's no engagement. So I will ask a question, then I'll keep asking them to share more with me. Why do you say that? Why do you think that way? Oh, why is it? Oh, is there any reason why you're considering this area? Is it because it's near to your workplace? So you give them more airtime, so that people feel that you understand them, they feel being understood, right? But when Asian keep talking, right, they feel that you are just another one trying to sell me something, so to speak, right? But in general, that's why I say it's good that we all share here, because it's a learning platform. So we don't, you so I hit so much walls, so many years, until then then some of them share with me, out of like 20, 30 clients, there's like one or two who truly give you some feedback lah. So, but it took me, what did I lost? I wasted time. I wasted opportunity, right? I keep repeatedly doing the same mistake over and over and over again. So because nobody can highlight to me where's my blind spot. Until you hit the wall enough already, then you realize that, okay, maybe you tweak a bit, then you realize, hey, actually things started to work. Actually, it's like this, right? So that's the reason why we felt that PST is a great platform, so that other than several classes, it covers different macro, micro finances, how you look at it, timeline, how to structure things, this and that. But my class is actually sharing with you questioning technique and how to deliver in a soft skill way, which this is your persona already. How you make the clients feel engaged with you, that I feel more comfortable with you as compared to they will speak to a few agents one, no doubt one, right? So how do I engage with you to give you some ideas, but to hold back some ideas as well? Like what you say, I give you some question, maybe you share with me, after I share with you, customize some goodbyes for you in my next meetup. True enough. But the fact is that I feel the engagement is the missing puzzle. Right? Yeah. So it's good that you qualify them to share with them that, hey, you know how you position yourself above. But it was a little bit like too neutral, like you say, some buy two, some make money, some buy two, some lose money. Then after that, yeah, I took into the stack, I choose the stack. Then I'm trying to catch up with your train of thoughts. Right? Because it's touch and go, but why don't you go into deeper, like why people lose money? On what aspect? Do you have an example to show me? You know, so I can anchor into like, oh, you say lose money, or how they lose money. If you have some slides of this, right, like maybe just one slide, right, then you can see a negative sale, right, unprofitable in square foot. Some project shows that. So with that, right, it make people feel that, okay, it opened my eyes, because when you show me numbers that real people lose money, it give me a fear that, wow, you know, I don't want to be like them. That's why I want to speak to you. Then you have next slide that why this person lose money? Why this person make money, but why this person lose money? Why? Then go deeper into your why. Because what you're sharing is touching the surface. So you don't leave any impression to me after you leave. I only know that you are going to give me a set of questions. So it's like question after question. Yeah. So what we want is our first appointment, we want to leave impression. Yeah. So that you are differentiate. Likely, of course, for the next appointment. But what you have meet the objective lah. You can see how many people will meet you for next appointment. But we can improve that further, then that will be your questioning technique to be engaged. Cool?
Okay, thank you.
Great. So yeah, I'm going to share with you what I would have suggested in this case studies. So simply knowing that they make money in a 4-room BTO. Similarly, I will crunch the figures to see what kind of people am I talking to. If I know that assets planning tool, right, we can see that my TDSR for husband alone, my TDSR for wife alone combined. So when you see this stuff figure, you know that, okay, so usually it's like that. It's always two things. Usually if elderly, they usually have resources in the sense of CPF elderly usually combine about $500,000, right? So the cons is that the challenge part towards them is the loan, because age, TDSR, right, age, income, all this become your loan. Yeah, youngsters is that usually the loan no issue one, because age and then their income, especially you combine, is usually no issue one. The challenge for young couple is always the resources, because they haven't beefed out CPF yet. So this is an overview, usually knowing that this is a general framework lah. So since I know that this couple profile is a young couple in the sense that this is their first property, so to speak, that make money, right? After that, when I know that, okay, borrowing not an issue, moving on, I'll be more mindful about what's our cash and CPF proceeds over here, right? So along the way, as I shared with them during our first meetup, you also ask that, hey, actually, congrats at your first property, you are the lucky few actually make money and you started with the right footing, which is a BTO. Because for any Singaporeans, I think those lucky ones that are able to get the BTO, it gives them a great head start because it actually gives you that 5% outlay, which is a cash component in your profit that you can actually outlay your next purchase, right? So question is, further, would there be any, if you are looking at this next purchase, what is your possible any initial cash outlay that you are comfortable to put into your next property, right? Then they ask, what do you mean by that? Do you mean our savings? Then they'd be like, how much? Then in all aspect, right? You are the stranger in my house. First time we are meeting, speaking in less than 15 minutes. Then you want to ask me about my bank account. Do you think they will tell you the truth? Precisely, right? So next question would be that they ask you, how about you tell us how much is needed? Then I think if it's 1 million is about 50K, would that be something you're comfortable with? Then they will tell you a yes or no, right? So then assuming eventually if they say 50, then let's say you punch in the figure here and there lah. But in general, you can see that the cash component, let's say, is 200K, assuming 220. CPF proceeds is this, right? Total cash is 500,000, right? 500,000. Let me ask you, if it's 1 million property, what is the down payment that I have to fork out? Total down payment. Audrey, 9%. Right. You're right. So I will always give them a overview as a consumer, because now you're buying HDB, you're transferring your HDB to a private. They may or may not know what is the overall price, right? So yeah, correct. So I will tell them it's 29%, including stamp duty, less 15,400. Sorry, Alfred, you might want to mute because I hear echo also. Thanks. So I will share with them. Okay, so 1 million we possibly is 274K, right? So then our total resources here is 576. So assuming I just minus away this 1 million purchase, how much? So it leaves us a balance of what, supposedly 300. Am I right? So this 300, so are we suggesting that if you sell 1 buy 2, so you're saying that we are buying about 800 to 1 million, 2 ma? If I just split based on your resources, am I right? So then I'll ask them, are you aware that what's the cheapest 1-bedder today in the market? Yeah, you all can also type in the group chat. Are you all aware? What's the cheapest 1-bedder product in the market? Generally, 800K, 850 onward. Yeah, very good, 800. So very good. That's when you ask them, are they aware? Yes and no, right? So I'll ask them 1-bedder how much? Assuming, let's say they say, okay, 800, yep. Then that's when I'll share with them, you're right. You see, if we were to do this, right, 800 each of us, each of you, because it says split ma, right, 7 by 2. The total outlay for a 1.6 million property is 443, right? Less off your total cash and CPF, you have a reserve funds of 182, of which 80K is based on your current existing savings lah. So actually, it's as good as we are trading up your HDB to be to 800K. So my question is that, Are you are looking at one of it for own stay, one of it for investment? Am I right? If it's for own stay 800K, if it's one bedroom, is that something sufficient for you to live in? Right. So if it's one bedroom is not something that you are looking at, does that mean that we are looking at minimum what? Is it a 2+ study or is it a 3-bedroom? Right. So you are bringing them, you are inching further into their what is needed by giving me an overview first. I don't talk about product yet, right? So if they say that minimum 2 study or 3-bed lah minimum lah, right? I think that typically is like this. So if so, right, I'll share with them that, right, but looking at this, assuming your 2-bed 220K per square feet, right? Size 2-bed How do you know how much is the possible gain for a property to increase generally? Don't know, right? So then I'll share that generally 200 per square feet. You imagine if you are 1,000 square feet owner, you multiply by 1,000. That's when people take 200K cash profit. They will usually, they will actually lock in the profit with a 200K. My question is, if we are splitting into two and our square feet is actually 420 size 200, assuming that market is good and it's in your favor, it goes up 200 per square feet. Multiply by your size, you gain 84K. You gain 84K, both times 2 property 168. Right? Do you think actually at the end of it, right, purchasing 800K property each, right, the outlay for this, the reserve funds is 32. Worst case scenario in this aspect, right, cash flow for reserve funds is actually, worst case scenario is 2 years, right? But my question is, first of all, right, if the profit is the possible profit is actually split into two per project that you buy in, got to increase 200 per square feet. Versus what do you think if we go into one group development, in the sense that we study the pricing, we just bank on one good one that multiply by 1,000 square feet, which is your 3-bedroom. Versus these two must be sold in your favor, right, for a 200 per square feet increase at the same time. Then what you get? About 84 each. Does it make sense? Looking at assuming even the same development in a let's say I talk about this in firm view, so to speak, because this is actually they actually took it in the most recent years. And recent years at the same development, do you think that the 1-bedroom versus the 3-bedroom, do you think actually they grow at the same pace? Correct? A 3-bedder in the same development, they actually have higher profit compared to a smaller unit in the same development. So why do I show you this? I'm sure if you want me to split two for you to buy one each, we are more than happy, right? Because it also multiply. But my question is, do we multiply for the sake of multiplying develop projects, multiplying assets, or do we want to go and really go into something that is of value? Imagine that if we buy a 3-bedder today, assuming if it's like starting price, how much do you think a 3-bed today, 2+ study or 3-bed possible entry price today is? How much do the rest of you think? 2+ study 3, what's the starting price bracket? I think in general, 1.2 onwards, 1.2 onwards, 1.2 onwards, yes, resale. But if it's say new launch, right, 1.4 to 1.6 entry. So then let's say we take about assuming we take in general 1.4. You imagine my one single 1.4 outlay. I can choose 2 plus study already, right? Compared to I 2 one bedroom, my outlay is actually a 1.6 ma, right? 800 plus 800, my minimum is 1.6, and yet I need both to grow simultaneously. So what I'm trying to say is that what do you think if we look at something that is 1.4, you get lesser cash outlay, but yet you grow more for a 3-bedder? Make sense? So over here, as you can see, assuming the option is sell one, buy one. This is your total resources as mentioned. Buy one property, 1.4 million. The entry price of, 2 plus study and whatnot, right? You still have a cash reserve funds on 182 as compared to your initial is 132, right? Which one would you actually feel more comfortable? If you have actually had more reserve funds in that while you're staying in it, it actually lasts us, even in the worst scenario, 3 years. Do you agree that 7 years is actually a pretty good runway for the appreciation? Considering that at the end of it, when we were to extend the tenure, in fact, so just now I shared with you all, right, PA app do not do the repricing. They go by the loan tenure of a calculated 24 weighted income age, right? But then we can go one step further by doing the mortgage in the app by extending the tenure. See, I put the interest at 2%. It can then last us, if both working, it's 13 years. If both not working, it's 4 years. Right? So does it make more sense that actually I put in lesser cash outlay or lesser resources, but I have a stronger runway, lower risk? Right? So this is actually one of the area that, again, I will share with them the idea, because you say you are sell one buy two ma. Then I will give a framework of a general picture to you, to share with you, is this what you want? Because if this is what you want, sure enough, the next session I share with you which is the product that best suit you lah. But is this what you hope to achieve towards the end? Yeah, agree. So in a sense that if we need to show them some actual overview, the fact is that then it will give some clarity already. I don't need to go into the product yet, because when we, like last time, I really my very figure one, so I always show them the numbers. To them they also blur, It's that I always sell one 6 digit HDB, you show me how many million, and wow, all I see is that there's just a lot of all these numbers. It doesn't make any sense to them. Yeah, because it's just numbers, what. So I mean, good that if you are speaking to somebody who's an accountant or engineer, maybe they can actually grasp that kind of technicality better. But 50% of the audience, they are not. So you need to show in a conceptual manner. You need to speak their language. The fact is, because agents, we are always dealing with numbers every day. So we deliver also like a number. So that was also what I've learned along the way when I was doing research, in that sense, because we were all very figures minded. So that's why the consumer cannot connect. Yeah, to them is that you just keep talking about how many million, I also don't understand. Right? By giving an overview, a big picture, they might be able to understand the direction better. Because themselves also no clarity. That's why they only tell you that I want like that lah. Then after you go into, I can give you where have you seen? Then even further, but some will make money, some look, then it's like, so it's good to split, or is it not good to split? Right? In that sense. So this is what I meant by it can be very simple during your first meetup. Very simple but clarity. You see, the numbers that we actually punch in, you always give a very absolute whole number. You take 1 million and the gauge, but in your mind you also know 1 million, what can you get? Then you ask the owner 1 million today, how much do you know how much is a 1 bedroom? Yeah, so if 1 million is the benchmark, then we have to go lower. We cannot wait 1 million means I use 1 million, right? So usually we take a comfortable number to discuss. Because 800 they can understand, right? Yeah. So the overview breakdown of your number to be very small, that people can understand you. Yeah, but yet as agent, we always talk about the absolute figure like 800K, 1 million. Then people cannot understand that, cannot digest. Make sense? Any question? There's only two reasons why there is absolute silence. It's either you all are lost or that it's so clear that there's no question. So I hope it's the second one. Okay. So are we good to move on to the third one? So that's the reason, that's why I say that I wanted to give you all several profile. The young couple, the middle age. The last one we are going into is actually a retiree. So that you can see different areas of what is actually good for them. How you can actually map out the next property planning that suit the next season. Agree? So, okay, let me share. This is the one that okay, come. Ethan and Eliza owns a fully paid 4 room and staying there in the last 2 decades, 18 years. Children 12 and 18 years old, which is teenager. Ethan is 50 years old, income 10K. Wife is 49 years old, income 8.8K. Fully paid up. Bought back then 820K. Today value is worth 1.85. So from this profile, I think we can understand that these are conservative homeowners. That's why they wanted no loan, fully paid up. But now that they see that, hey, maybe they are exploring to own a second property for investment because perhaps they have saved enough, right? So they are speaking to you and then looking at, we don't want to sell here, we are very happy staying here, we grew up here, now no loan already. Maybe I can explore second option to buy a new one for own stay, for investment, sorry. Okay, so they are looking at the idea of should they or not. Okay, so now it's 4:22. Are we good? We take about like 10 minutes, 4:30, 4:35. We run through this together. Cool. All right. Oh my goodness, I've been talking to myself. Thanks. Okay. Well, I was actually, yeah, I was actually good sharing with Joel. Yeah, CPF is actually special account was for the basic retirement fund. So we use SA first for second property. So we have to put aside basic retirement fund, which is half of that year SA retirement fund. 2021 retirement fund, any of you know how much is it? That's right. So this year is 186 full retirement sum. So we take half, which is 93. Elaine. So yes, so that's why we are putting aside 50%, which is from SA first, then OA, right? Then that after you set aside this basic retirement fund, then you can buy your second property. Of course, on top of that, then you have ABSD and then along the way lah. So yeah, I was asking earlier who would like to give it a shot since it's also the last case studies for the day. Any of you? Any of you? Monica, Joel, Elaine, you all want to give it a shot? Is it Andic? I don't know how to pronounce your name. How do I pronounce?
Is it me, Andy?
Yes. So yeah, correct, Andic. Okay, cool. Would you like to give it a shot?
Alamak. Can
Give it
someone
a shot
else?
and turn on your video lah, so everybody can see. If not, I'm like talking to a screen, you know.
Okay. Just give me a moment.
Okay, take your time.
Yeah, hello.
Cool. Hi.
Hi.
So, Andy, have you take some time to re-look into this? Would you like to share with us your thoughts? Imagine I'm the owner lah, how you deliver to me, so we can all learn together. Again, feel free to give us your comment or if you have any question. Okay. Yep.
Can I see the screen again?
Okay, sure.
Should I do like what Alfred did, like to reconnect and all, or should I just start with whatever? Or how do I usually start?
Okay. So actually the framework for this session is actually so that, for example, you are meeting me, I'm the owner for the first time. So over the phone I tell you this is my intention to own a second property. So
Okay.
yeah, so based on like just now Alfred I shared a little bit, and also like I think the key is on how do you connect, and then after that secure the next appointment. How do you normally
Okay.
present? Try.
Okay. So you are so do I address you as Ethan or Alisa or Yvonne?
Okay. Good question. You can ask. You can address me as Elijah or Alisa. Okay lah. Whichever comfortable.
Elisha, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elisha, for connecting with me. Okay, so I understand that you want to own a second property for investment. Firstly, have you spoken to any of the agents, and what have they advised you to do?
Right. Yeah. I spoken to one that actually said that I can own a second property. Then I thought like, why not? I mean, since I also have some savings, so I thought maybe it's time for me to consider lah.
I see. Okay. Is property your only investment, or do you have any other plans for your retirement?
I have some REITs. Other than that, I'm a saver.
Oh, okay, that's good to hear lah. Not based on your profile, I can see that you are very cautious with your money. Okay, then it seems that you are quite knowledgeable lah with some of the soft assets that we have. Property investment is one that is the cash outlay is quite huge. Okay, so are you aware that there might be you might need some cash?
How much? How much do you think is needed?
How much? Mm, it depends on what property you are going for. In this case, you're saying that you are going for investment property, so it depends lah. Every property has its own unique traits, whether it's a one bedder to a penthouse, and the profile of the tenants is also different. So there are various methods, or what I would call it uh, financial how to say wait. Uh, uh, there are methods, okay, to firstly, of course, we will need the cash outlay, then secondly to see your financial strength, and thirdly would be how much loan that you can get to acquire that investment.
Okay. So what would you need to assess like what are the property I can buy?
Okay, so I just fast forward lah, since you already gave me everything. Okay, I can see here that you are nearing the retirement age, which is 55. It's good that you called me earlier, not when you are already 55 and your CPF will be locked into the retirement account. Okay, so there are a few methods lah that we can do. Firstly, I can see that you own a Queenstown, a fully paid four bedder condo. What you can do is gearing up. Okay. Secondly, the most direct method would be to use your income, and I can get in principle approval for you. But in this case, I actually got a lot of things that you can do. So should I lay out everything? Sorry, Yvonne.
Sounds good. I think
I'm really not sure.
sounds good. I think okay. So since you say your layout, right? What is the option that you would suggest? You just mentioned to me gear up, right? So is it gear up?
Actually, you mean what's the best?
What would you
Best,
suggest
I
for
would
me?
say, okay, it depends if, let's say, the fully paid, how's the holdings like? Is it 99-1 or 50-50? In that case, we can do a decoupling.
And then
So I'm not wrong.
decoupling, okay.
Okay, that's one. We can do a graph. Okay, but then that one, you have to be aware that there would be additional buyer stamp duty. Okay, then thirdly would be the direct method, which is to just see whether the banks are able to finance your next property lah.
So you think the bank can finance my next property?
Okay, I do the calculation now. Okay.
Okay. So assuming let's say you have done it already, and then it can finance. So you will lay out these three options for me lah, is it? Which is to gear up and then buy the next property, right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So the rest of you, right? Your type 1, if you're also shared with what Andy suggests, which is gear up and buy second property. Type 2, if you will ask them to sell. Okay, so I want to see how many of you are geared to which one. Okay. So Joel, Audrey, okay, yeah, 2. The rest is 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. So most will sell. 2, 1, 2. Gear up. Type to TDSR 2. Gear up. So we have 50-50, yeah. I think more is a little bit more geared to 2 option 2, which is to sell. Huh? Okay, good idea. So okay, the reason why I want to see how many of you are geared to option 1, which is gear up and then buy, or option 2, reason being because, right, in the previous class a lot go for option 1, gear up, then buy the second property, right? So at the end of it, let me share with you just a quick one. Those who put 2, right, reply me that you sell already. What would you suggest to buy? Is it sell 1, buy 1 for own stay, or sell 1 already, buy 1 for own stay? Is it a HDB or is it a condo? Right. If it's condo, type condo. If it's sell already, buy HDB, buy HDB. So which one do you all suggest? Condo. So is it sell 1, buy 1, or sell 1, buy 2? So condo, I see Anna's, Monica, all condo. Sell 1, buy 2. 1 3-bed and 1 for investment, Joel. Sell 1, buy 2. So because you all felt that don't gear up so that they can sell 1 and then got 2 for potential upside, is it? It seems like it is, right? Because most of you felt that the cash is sufficient to own 2, right? So that's why most of you put sell 1, buy 2. Yeah, it's good. But Joel puts 1 3-bedroom, own stay, 1 for investment. Yeah. Okay. Let me share with you. Again, okay, those who have 2 kids who are still young, so decent size to stay. But 2 kids who are still young, so need a decent size. You're right. Size matters, especially they are so used to 4-bedder, right? So the question is, first, again, I will share with them this loan eligibility, which is that if we were to Ethan buy 1, wife buy 1. So just now I share with you all, right? The thing is when you have the resources, your pullback is your age. That's why the purchase price is 1.1 million. Even combined is 1.66. Correct. So this is just an overview. So if it's for elderly, how do we up their loan eligibility so that they can leverage? Pledge, unpledged, extend tenure until 75, lower LTV. Correct. So until 75, right? So that's when my LTV will be 55, right? 45, 45. The new rule. Okay, is it? Yeah. So imagine if I sell the existing property, right? 1.85, whatever CPF use I put back, my total returns will be net cash 1.1 million. Total CPF returns 678, right? So, okay, this is my resources, 1.1 and 678. Now, what about if we were to gear up? Now, I'm just working out on 2 options lah. One is to sell. What am I getting? One is I gear up. How much can I borrow? Okay, so if I were to keep for own stay, I gear up for investment. 75% of the valuation, right, minus CPF use and all others, the new mortgage husband have to take is actually 4731 because 15 years tenure. Agree? So the next question is, if option 1, like just now I shared with you, option 1 is if option now for this option 1 is sell 1 for own stay, buy 1 for own stay and invest. Cash plus CPF total after I sell is 1.96. Option 2, own stay, gear up. It will be cash will be 700, which means 700 I can buy the next one. But my new mortgage that I gear up 700 will be, I have to serve 4,700 per month. Right. So look into these numbers, because in order for us to know whether which option work better, I will work out these two numbers. One is to sell first, one is to gear up. How many of you feel comfortable looking at the numbers now for this option 2, which means after I take out 700 to down pay my next investment, how many of you, now you're the owner, will go for option 2 to gear up and then you start to serve a new mortgage of 4,700 per month? Right. Yes, no, you all can type here. Right, how many of you will go for option 2, which is you will gear up and then you pay a new mortgage? So Andy, will you do that? Will you, just now when you said gear up, right? So looking at the figures now for the new mortgage and after you gear up this money, will you do this? Will you go for this option 2?
So the option 1, is it when I buy one, stay and invest? So means I buy one and sell one and buy two, I will get this amount, the cash plus CPF.
This is after I sell, so my cash and CPF total resources is 1.96. So at 1.96, then I can see how I want to divide the money lah.
Option 2 also quite, I think both also quite tempting, but I think I will go for option 2, I think.
Okay, so you'll go for option 2, right? Yeah. The rest of you, will you go for option 1 or 2? I want to see the majority view also. That's why I thought Andy is quite a risk taker, because he's still young lah. He don't know the heart of somebody who's 50s, nearing retirement. High tech. I painstakingly pay my mortgage fully of that. Then you tell me to take a new loan at 4,000 every month. So the question is this: even so, right? If you were to sell the property fully paid, assuming this option 3, which is like I sell a condo, I unlock the cash, I pay a fully paid up HDB and invest the rest in full cash. Why do I say in this first liner, right? Despite many of you were suggesting that, hey, if I sell already with that close to 2 million cash and save CPF, I can go and buy two, one for own sake. My question is, yes, you can do that. But first of all, understanding the heart of somebody who's 50, nearing retirement, CPF will get locked up eventually, right? In the next 5 years. What is the possible runway, right? To say that maybe I because teenage kids, you still need to buy a 3-room for them to stay. And some of you suggested have to be sensible one. True that. Right, at least 1,002 square feet, I suppose. Likely a resale. So my question is, first, would somebody who stayed 20 years in a RCR Queenstown, you ask them to go to, maybe to be affordable, we have to go to maybe OCR to lower the so-called purchase price. What is the probability and the likelihood? Right. So if at the end of it, most likely I would say that the location will be something that they will be very comfortable. Yeah, won't move, right? OCR, correct, Irene. So we will be thinking ahead, if putting yourself in their shoe. First, if I gear up, I need to pay 4,000 plus. The chance of it is that, why so long no loan already, suddenly you ask me to take like almost 5,000 commitment every month, and then at this age. The second thing is, even I split 2 already, right? Private, to grow the money. The fact is that, what is my runway? Because in 5 years I have to lock up. I have to meet my retirement sum already. So anything I sell on and after, it's either I sell before my birthday, 55, so that I don't lock up my CPF, or that I may possibly lock up if I sell after 55, right? Either way of the current resale unit 4-bedroom you are staying in, or the new one, both also will face the same situation. So you imagine at that point of time, if for Ethan, at by then the lockup will be about 200, right? So basically, if assuming Eton CPF is 426, now if we were to let go the 4-room fully paid, the CPF return is about 788. The rest is actually cash, right? So the end of the day, right? Assuming if we don't trade off the size, we don't trade off the location, and yet to be the lowest risk, do you all agree that, hey, Ethan, in any way, are you aware that this 55, there's this full retirement sum we might be looking at, right? Which is 5 years down the road. So now, knowing that your property currently already appreciate, that is actually at this value already. In fact, today, if you offload it, you are actually taking back cash and CPF about close to 2 million. What do you think if we reinvest this amount without touching your savings to own a second property? And the fact is that we can actually, before the CPF get locked up, assuming, okay, how much is a 5-room flat in that District 3, Tiong Bahru, Queenstown, Redhill? Generally it's about 800 to 850, right? Yeah. So let's say we put 900 as the higher margin, right? So that we look at the overview first. So let me take 900 and multiply by plus include the 3% stamp duty. Total purchase is 921. Assuming I take 921, I fully paid using cash and CPF. CPF I wipe up. And then that means now I'm planning my next retirement home already. With same thing, without any loan. But I liquidate the profit sitting inside. Am I right? Yeah. So then after that, right? So you see, 1.96 is my total resources minus away my purchase for a roof for my family, right? I still have a good 1 million in cash, right? Do you agree that with that, for somebody who's 50s journey, right, would it be more comfortable if I invest something to, maybe I buy it like what y'all say, perhaps it can be a 1-bedroom, 700, 800K, whatnot, with zero loan. And I'm not touching my savings. On top of that, in fact, I'm getting a good rental income. Assuming a 1-bedroom at Potong Pasir Poise Residence Integrated Development, how much is it? Do y'all know? To buy in a 1-bed, later transaction 700, 738. The rental there, 1-bed is 2000, 2003, 2003. Yeah, 2002. So do you think it's very comfortable for somebody to feel that, hey, I mean, do we all agree on and after 50, your job sense of security is not as strong as your back 10 years ago, 40 years old? Agree? Is this actually the right time that you may want to re-look into your assets planning to start getting rental income and that liquidate from your current profit you're sitting on? Yet you're taking more money without even any loan, right? Do you think that makes sense? Okay. What if they're not comfortable to downgrade to HDB after staying in condo so many years? Will you recommend one new launch with possibility of capital appreciation? Good question, Athena, right? So a lot of my other participants also ask this concern. Will it not be comfortable to live in HDB? You are right. That's why when we lay out this question, we will ask them, we'll show them the numbers. Does it make sense to you? Right? So when we show the numbers, imagine if it's yourself, right? If I share with you that, hey, actually after this one, assuming we buy a 700, 1-bedroom, above the MRT, and then you can get 2000, 2003 a month cash, is that something you are comfortable with? On top of that, you have about 200K pocket savings, right? Would that be something you are comfortable with? and moving ahead, we are actually planning your capital gain that has actually optimized in the last 2 decades. Now I want to switch them to yield so that it can give you that passive income every month. They'll tell you yes, no, because at the end of the day, right, you're right that they may not feel that comfortable. Like, I've never thought of like sell my here buy HDB leh. But if I sell already, then I can still, be able to not be concerned about my job security, and yet I can take 2.3k every month cash, and 200k in my on top of that in my bank. That is where they felt safe and secure. Once they feel safe and secure, that they don't have to rely, because why are they thinking of second property? To make money, right? Yeah. But does taking a loan favorable to them? The question is this: do I buy a new launch for possibility of capital appreciation? It can, but the fact is that what I'm trying to say is, you buy new launch already, in 5 years down, you're 55 already. So let's say I take 1.96, I buy in a 1.6 million, like what you all suggested. Average is 1.6 ma. 1.6 million, I add in a 4% stamp duty, right? Total is additional about 50k, so 1.65, right? So I'm 1.65, I less off my supposing 1.96. I have about 300k cash thereafter. My question is, now the kids are teenager. Does it mean that the kids will stay with you all the time? 12 and 18. Assuming 5 years later, 18 will become 23, will become 17 years old. This one 55. Then the question is, will you keep this 3-bedroom? But then after that, let's say you keep for 10 years, after they fully grow up already, they all leave home already. Then after that you sell off. Right? You don't need such a upkeeping of the house. You don't need such a big house anymore, ma. You also want to liquidate, right? For retirement funds. Then will we be subject to this? Both will be subject to, because by then will be 60 and 59. 10 years later. Then will we be subject to the retirement sums lockup? So is that in our favor? Right. So it's good that you're asking me this question, so that I can share with you how you should reply them. Because we are, like I say, we want to show them what is the possible scenario, projecting to them the mid to long term. But I'm not here to decide for you. You have to decide for yourself. I'm laying out to you the pros and cons, the risks and rewards here. Right. Then you have to tell me, because sometimes it's a very personal and it's a very, very subjective thing, ma. Some might be okay with living in a HDB, some might not. Right? Some might also start to think that, yeah, actually true, I don't need this. I want to liquidate it as that. Yep. So this is actually what I meant by we go into the calculation both. Only when we go into calculation for both, then you can see for yourself which one the numbers make more comfortable to you yourself. Then you can suggest and then you can discuss with them from there. Right? Agree? So Monica say, when you buy HDB, need to wait 5 years MOP, then can buy second. Yeah, you're right lah. You're right. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is this. You see, option 1 and option 2, right? Because you know that the prospect come to you, want to know what is the options, right? That is a consultation only. What does it take for a prospect to go ahead with you for an execution? Right? So despite if it's 5 years NOP or not, right, or that you can straight out bring them to a new launch, despite which one, at the end of the day, if the prospect if they don't know, I mean initially, let's say they say, hey, yeah, actually get up sounds good leh. Don't need to touch my saving, I can get second property, then I can continue live here so comfortable. Yeah, maybe you can try that. Then you go one big round. Then you does everything, then the numbers come back to him, new mortgage, IPA. Huh? 4,000. Wow, scared already. Right? So like I say, all this thing is just consultation level. We also want to think one step ahead. What make them feel comfortable and what suits their current situation. You will know it when you put yourself in their shoe. Right? So that's the reason why when we execute these options, when they are comfortable, is the moment that they will go ahead. Then it became an execution of the best plan you all have. You all have actually weighed the several options, pros and cons. Agree? Any question?
Yvonne, I'm Monica. Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, just want to check with you. Because whenever I put the asset planning, right, then they straight away suggested the like how much is the purchase price. Like we can't fill in ourselves, is it, for this calculator?
Yes, you can.
Oh,
Okay, let me iPhone. Share. Okay, so a quick share with you, where do you put your assets? This PA app.
under suggested planning, suggested plans, right? Then buy two private concurrently.
You put concurrent, right? Two private concurrent. So when
Yeah.
you put concurrent here, the price already predetermined. So what you can do here is, when you go to the total funds and suggest plan, right? You saw the first two?
Yeah.
Buy one each. You go
Oh,
to the buy one each, then you can change your number here.
oh, okay, understand.
Cause you say concurrent ma, so you have to work on the individual one. Then after that, you key in here first. Then they will merge it.
Okay, can, thank you.
Cool. Okay. So before we any question further for pertaining to this? Wait I need to wait. Cannot see.
So
Right.
again, Yvonne, I just want to check with you for the case study 3, right? If you are the consultant, what do you suggest?
Case studies 3, right?
Mm-mm.
If I'm the consultant, right, I suggest this law.
Or buy the 5-room HDB, then we
Be-
the everything.
because you see, when we talk about we have been trained or shared with owners that when do you do capital appreciation, right? Capital gain, right? Am I right? So at the end of it, right? Do you remember when do we tell the owner, hey, you 30 to 45, 50, you appreciate, you go for capital gain. Then after that, by when do you actually unlock all your gains, sell off, then you go and buy a retirement home? When do we tell them to do that? Which is your mid to long term exit plan, right? So when is it?
Yeah, when we are 65, right? 60, right? If I'm not mistaken, in the timeline.
When does the CPF lock up?
55.
So when should you offload and buy your retirement home?
Yeah, before 55. Yeah.
So by 53 like this, about 54 latest, you have to do that, am I right?
Yeah.
Cool. So in that sense, right, if that is what's happening, then do you agree that because of this profile, it's already 48? Is it 48 and 50 ma?
Yeah, 49 and 50.
Correct. So we always tend about going up, ma. But actually this is the true case studies that they also have to plan to come down, ma.
Okay.
Agree? And yet after that then you can that is actually what we are looking at. As much as we have been asking people to appreciate, right? They are already sitting on profit. It's time to liquidate to get yield product. High yield.
Yeah, I agree with you, the liquidation, but it's just that the planning for this case, because they have a lot of funds, you know. Yeah.
Meaning?
Meanings that okay lah. The plan for buying the HDB 5-room and stay in the city area, is and because of the children are still young, so schooling age, yeah.
Actually, that's why as we propose this, right, we can give them this suggestion of this suggestion. But at the same time, like I say, then that's when you share with them. How does this look to you? Is this something you think you and your family will be comfortable staying in? Keep it open. Do not put the goalpost in front of yourself, because last time we always say, hey, don't buy HDB depreciation asset and this like that. Don't buy resale. Resale all pass all the profit to owner already. I tell you, they go behind, they go and buy themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understand.
So keep it open. You can suggest, but you don't you're gonna get cut your own. Well, you talk until the cow come home, then after you put so many goalposts, they also dare not talk to you because you keep saying resale not good. Then they go buy through another agent.
Okay. Okay, then thank you, Yvonne.
Yeah, no worries. If buy another investment property after 5 years, he needs to top up funds. So just top up funds. I think we have a balance 1 million. How do you calculate gear up amount of 4731? 75% of, okay, wait, I should share with you. 75% of valuation less of CPF use, which is the outgoing party outgoing party, the CPF use is here. So assuming if I see that, okay, if this person is 1 million, this one is 1.1 million, then after that it is 1.9, right? So the one who buy over 1.9, the valuation 1.85. So the outgoing party, we will need to return back their CPF and accrued interest. Then is the amount that is able to gear. Correct. Outstanding loan, if any. Correct. So that's why I want to highlight this to you all. See. Okay. I want to highlight this to you all in the sense that what are the things you should look out for when you want to plan ahead. If, for example, today you want me to buy something, like I saw my HDB, you say buy one, right? And if you plan for me to gear up so I can own second property, right? So what are the things that you will suggest I keep? Okay, right. So this is actually the summary of what we have shared in terms of the techniques in a sense, what are the things to be mindful of. So like just now through our case studies, this when we talk about, let's say eventually I want to gear up, I do 99.1%, right? And the question is that some agents they put 99.1%, but they do not, the CPF usage they put half 50-50 to purchase the property together. Then like just now Audrey shared, right, the calculation for gearing up is actually plus less of the outstanding loan and CPF use. Then is whatever I can take out. Right. So that is where if I know that I'm going to gear up, then I as much as possible, if the numbers make sense, then we don't use CPF. Right? So same thing. Again, if it's somebody who is an elderly, they want to leverage on the low interest rate, right? I want to loan. So when do I do the pledge and unpledge? Show funds. Then I can up my loan size. If I don't want to cough out so much down payment, if I cough out 45% down payment, in that sense, of course, I can get a straight out 75% loan tenure, right? But when we do pledge and unpledge, it is also at the point of loan application to increase the loan size. Alright. Of course, then the stretch tenure will be refinanced, repriced, or the LTV 55. Then that's when we're down 45. So these are some of the techniques that we see how we want to help them that fit the profile and what they are today. Of course, that's why I say no one solution fit all family, because in restructuring assets, all this, right, we need to see who are the owners, what's their dependent. Their dependent is how old, how many do they have. All this is kept into their cash flow to make it that as much as they want to trade up the value of the property, we want to make it manageable in the risk. That's how all these techniques come in. Assuming decoupling is also doing MOP or TOP, EC is also possible, right? After EC 5-year MOP already, then I decouple. Yeah, then these are the for young couple, when there's still a long runway one, we can do decoupling. Yeah. Right, because I stretch the tenure, everything is manageable in the repayment wise. The greatest risk of the property is there's no holding power, right? But yet, if we can lower down the risk by extending the tenure, by all this thing, when things are manageable, right, then the risk is being mitigated. Agree? So yeah, so then the pros and cons of trustee is where we save ABSD, but however, the cons will also be that using trustee, we have to wait until the child is 21 years old to release the funds.
Yvonne, I just want to summarize a little bit to know what is your opinion for the case study one, right? You ask, is a negative sale for their STB and their income is high. So what do you suggest for the case study one?
Okay, for case studies one, right, it's actually to show them that instead of going for a resale that has already, that you are paying people profits because you think that the freehold will continue to go up, right? So I'm showing you that it doesn't. So if you want things to go up, you want the value to go up, the higher probability would be, for example, a new launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the case study two?
Case studies 2 will be something whereby to show them that you want to sell 1 buy 2, the profit margin is actually very, the cheapest you can enter is 1.6 million combined, right? But yet your profit margin versus a 3-bedroom is actually higher potential versus a 1-bedroom.
Oh, okay. So it's
sorry.
So it means that for case study 2, though the person want to buy 2 units, but it's better to advise them to buy 1, but it's a bigger unit.
Yeah.
Because of the profit. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So good question. The next one is Linda asking, what do you mean MOP 5-year? And what do you is it the HDB in this case? MOP 5 years. Yes, HDB. We are talking about HDB. Then we MOP 5 years. Then after that, we use the remaining cash then to buy. Over here, right? Okay, Elena, why is decoupling more suitable for young people compared to the older one? Because when we decouple the young, okay, so the older one, when we decouple because of the short tenure, 65 less the age or all this thing, right? The repayment is very short. When the repayment very short, right, I have to pay pretty high in terms of serving the mortgage. And the older one, the job sense of security is not as strong, ma. So the numbers must make sense to know that if in any case, what is your reserve funds today if you will gear up? Are you comfortable to manage this new mortgage? Because you'll be serving two mortgage, right? After you gear up. A higher mortgage plus a new mortgage, right? And you are elderly, imagine. So do you think it's actually become like a risk to me? Right. Okay, great. So case studies 2 question. Are you having the book? All right. So
Hi Yvonne, Xing Yi here.
yes, hi.
Can I ask a question about case study 3?
Yep.
So if he waits for the HDB to MOP by the time he's already 55, right? So will he be able to use the CPF to buy the new property because he's already reached 55, right?
Yeah, correct. But the CPF will already be cleared up using to buy the HDB already, husband and wife combined. So before it get locked up, we actually clear up everything in a CPF to buy a retirement home.
Oh, so what you mean is the remaining 1+ million that's used to buy the one bedder in the future is the full cash proceed that he get from selling his condo now lah.
Yeah, right. So anything that you use cash to buy, you are not subject to that whole lockup due to the age. Right.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. So I hope the rest of you have benefited from it. Okay, y'all got any more several last question here? If not, we will wrap up for the day. So if you want to share anything, just put on your speaker, yeah. Yeah, might be good. Okay, so if you have benefited, just share with me your comment in my Facebook about your takeaways and yeah, let me know how you have benefited from it. All right. Thanks. I'm happy to see that many of you come forward and that you all ask your question so that we can all the rest of us can also benefited from it. That's great. Cool. And Nick, now more blur. Oh my goodness. It's good when you start questioning yourself. Because only when you start questioning yourself, then you think of different ideas. Yeah, because the reshark will have so many different area that we can actually look at. Yeah. That's why initially when a lot of them go in with the single mindset that, new launch, will make money and then how to multiply. Actually, the consumer very scared. So that in the end, we have a lot of consultation, but our closing also very slow, which was what happened to me. Yeah. It's like, in the end, at best, they tell you, okay, I let you sell my house. That's about it. But never buy through me also. So then it's just a process of this learning curve, which I encourage all of you to really just think through lah. I mean, like what you all realize, right? There's a lot of anger to look at one situation. And use PA to help you lah. For case study couple only buy one, so have to sell to see profit and buy again. True that lah. that's how we meant by every asset is a stepping stone ma. It's not the end product, right? But it's a very slow and steady way that we can see it nurturing. I think it's towards the end it's either 1 or 2 day. I think that is what we can actually look at, looking in terms of the numbers, right? But as far as it is, we also have to set aside the reserve funds lah, so they can't be splitting two and then everything wipe out. It will make the consumer very stressful in that sense. Yeah. Okay, so thank you everybody for patience and sitting this through. I really hope you all have benefited. I'm happy to share. Yeah, so yeah, feel free if you if share with me your feedback about this whole session today, and thank you for your almost 4 hours sitting through. Yeah. So I hope you all have enjoyed. Time for your dinner. See you guys.